All right, so now I would once again would like to invite the moderator, Shri Prashant Nagare, Managing Director of Fermenta Biotech Limited, and our respected panelist, Shri Vikram Oza, Director of Jindal Worldwide, Dr. G.M. Gupta, Chairman of Global Engineers Limited, Shri Gautam Modi, Director of Globestar Logistics LLP, Shri Alok Sharma, Managing Director of Polestar Consulting Private Limited, Shri Varadarajan Jothi, Managing Director of Reglo Industries Private Limited. The panel discussion is on entrepreneurial leadership dialogue. This panel discussion will emphasize on strategic plans and initiatives by the entrepreneurs for sustainable and profitable business growth. Entrepreneurial leadership is a dynamic and transformative approach that blends the skills and mindsets of entrepreneurs with the principle of effective leadership. In today's fast-paced and competitive environment, the need for entrepreneurial leaders has become more critical than ever. Entrepreneurial leaders are proactive, innovative, adaptable, and risk-taking. They play a key role in driving change, fostering growth, and inspiring teams to achieve their highest potential. The Entrepreneur Leadership Dialogue seeks to bring together entrepreneurs, business executives, and inspiring leaders to discuss, share, and learn about their essence of entrepreneur leadership. This can drive business success, more profitability, innovation, and its commercialization, global competitiveness, adaptation of unique ideas and concepts for building and branding products and services. And of course, success stories to encourage entrepreneurs, startups, and young women entrepreneurs. This discussion will be very interesting and beneficial to the entrepreneurs since all panelists are successful entrepreneurs and today's award winners. For the panel discussion, I would now like to invite all the panelists and moderators present here. Everyone, please put your hands together for them. Thank you.
Can I take over? Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to all of you. And what a day in the morning. I think it is largely the theme of this discussion is going to, when my request, just please switch off your phones because I think we will do it very short, but very, very powerful interaction for this half an hour or 45-minute session. So my request sincerely that the phones do completely bother the speakers as well as everyone around you. So just keep them on silent, request. So what a morning. I think this day when an entrepreneur receives an award and he is the happiest, the organization is the happiest. And these are very, very few moments in the life of an entrepreneur where he has a smile on his face. Because otherwise he leads, every morning the door opens to his cabin. I think what is the next thing is that someone is presenting a problem and urgent solution is needed. And I think the whole 365 days that energy is drained and then comes a day when you are hopeful that you will get an award and then you are awarded. And I think that moment itself is what you work for those 365 days. So I think a great round of applause for this spirit of entrepreneurship because I think it is this spirit that we work towards creating that value that the economy requires, okay? So that value addition that every entrepreneur creates is employment, it is the GDP growth, and it is the happiness for all around. That is what happens. So I think sometimes you have to just stop and celebrate, and that is this day. Now, obviously, when we have celebrated, it is a nice question to ask that what led to this success, okay? So there are successful entrepreneurs on both of my side, and this is the question. So when we look at entrepreneurs, exactly what is different for a leader, okay? As a leader, what is different? So I've always wondered, and I've also gone to this place in Maharashtra, which is a famous hill station called as Mahabaleshwar. That's the only place in Maharashtra where they have a beehive cultivation center, okay? So as a child, when I went there, I saw that it is very important for these hives because they teach how to do this, and you must be aware that all crops which are taken depend on the bees for the propagation of pollens. So it is very, very important to learn that art of propagation of bees and everything, and honey is obviously the best product out of it. However, in those hives, it is necessary that they have the queen bee. If you remove the queen bee from the hive is gone, okay? In my opinion, the queen bee is the exact same person who is the leader in our corporate world. You remove the leader, and then that entire thing will fall apart, okay? So it is the queen bee of these organizations, and I think that is a lot of hard work there, because the queen bee doesn't go out and actually does the work, but it is necessary to get everything together in that hive perform their job, okay? So that's the role of this. It is relatively understated, under-rewarded, but that is the thing which keeps the hive together, okay? So I think with that, I would I'll choose random questions and go to one speaker each. And the first question is to Mr. Jothi. And I would like to know that, in short, what to you is entrepreneurship, okay? What is the factor that you think led to you deciding to kind of venture out on your own? What were the factors that you considered to kind of venture as an entrepreneur? So just very short, but straight shoot from your heart.
Yes, great. Thank you, sir. Thanks for this. See, entrepreneurship. Before saying what happened in my career, like I started my career within 2 or 3 years. I said like I want to do a business. I did a like kind of business model, everything. I went to my father and I'm going to start a business. He just reviewed in 10, 15 minutes, said, my bank is better written than this. What is this business model? So I went back to work again, professional. I worked for 10 years. I worked in multiple departments, understood the business, how it works, the other part of it. Then this time I went with him, this is the model which I'm going to work. He said, yes, he has confidence on me, yeah, now you can go. That confidence gave me the boost, yes. And what I thought, what I've done, what I've learned is something right. And this is the right time, now I can get into my entrepreneurship and I can follow my passion, I can do my own startup. And one good thing what entrepreneurship gave me is it doesn't restrict me. The regular industries, what I have is a 400 crore turnover company in the past 3 years. It doesn't restrict me with that. I started another company, Kailan, which is into a different sector for CBG. And then I started a couple of IT-based products. There were innovative ideas. I said, why? Now I got the knack of entrepreneurship or starting running business. Now the ideas were implementing. I was able to run multiple businesses. I was able to manage different ideas. Whatever comes into my mind, yes, convert into a business model and I can run. And that gives me a satisfaction. That comes to the next level of not knowing margin or something. You able to do a successful business. You are able to contribute something to the society. You are adding some value. So that is where I see as entrepreneurship and the success. What took us. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think what he is trying to say is that he started fiddling with this idea, but his father, obviously, in a business-oriented setup, you will be sent home to do more homework. And I think that homework led to he becoming a serial entrepreneur. So thank you so much, Mr. Jothi, for this. Now, the next question to Mr. Modi is that you are from a logistic setup. And logistic in country like India is, I think, completely challenging, okay? It's not easy because I think if you just see the state of roads in India, I think you will kind of get into a state of shock to run. How do you reach something which is fragile in a proper shape to any place in India or for that matter in Mumbai? So we would like to know what are the challenges you think, top 3 challenges that has kind of made you focus your attention on. So Modi, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Just like to state a fact before we talk about logistics. India's logistics cost is about 12 to 14% of our total GDP, compared to developed nations who have a logistics cost of 8 to 9%. So we are anyways very high when it comes to logistics cost. Our government is working towards a single-digit target, but it is going to take some time. Shri Nitin Gadkari mentioned it will take about 3 to 5 years. That is the government's target to reach 9% GDP, I mean 9% cost of the GDP. So in this high logistics cost environment, it becomes even more imperative for the exporter and importer to select the right logistics company for their export, import, or even their domestic movement. So it should not just be restricted to L1, L2, and L3. There are more technical factors, customs know-how, global tariffs today, closure of shipping routes. There are so many issues that are to be factored in before selecting the logistics service provider. So the major challenges, I would say, is selecting the route, selecting the provider which gives you a technical know-how, and lastly, I can say, yes, cost is important, but it's not everything.
Thank you so much. I think this, and it is a very, very apt and appropriate answer. I think what is important with this kind of aspect into this whole thing is geopolitics, okay? I have to talk about it because I think every morning you open your phone or your newspapers or TV channel, I think geopolitics is completely going to shape the way that we do business. So the kind of theme of this conversation is also the growth. And in my opinion, before growth, there is one additional element has come in, and that is survival and then growth. Okay, if you survive, then you will grow. And that's where the world has come to. So there is one famous saying which says that you like or not the geopolitics, but the geopolitics likes you. Okay, so you will get impacted. Everyone sitting in this room will get impacted by two things. And those two things are very, very simple. That is, where you sell and where you buy from will completely get redefined in the next 1 year or so, or even earlier than that. I think 1 month, we have already seen how it has changed. So where you sell and where you buy from will completely get redefined. And therefore, logistics, because we have never ever imagined that the routes through Suez will be closed, okay? Red Sea will come under fire. And all of that has happened. We used to ship from India to Europe within something like 15, 20 days, 22 days at the most to Turkey. And then every morning you were redrawing and where the ships can go from without getting attacked. I mean, that is the world that we are living in. Then you are also second time looking at where, because you wanted to go to the aircrafts and put those goods. And the aircraft started increasing their rates when Russia-Ukraine war happened. So you are again looking at the routes where you can fly the aircrafts. Fortunately, the Indian aircrafts can fly over the Russian airspace. So logistic, I think, will define you make or break because you have made commitments before this geopolitics has started. Okay? And you will make commitments going forward. So I think logistic is very, very important aspect, will become the factor which will define success and survival both for future. So I'll come to now third question, that is to Varke sir. So Varke sir is a dear friend and he runs a company which is High Media, which is into very, very high-end applications within microbiology, media and all of that. And he has created a unit where we used to import these things. He has completely done an import substitution on that. So how did you succeed? So there are two questions because if we get into his mind, then we will be able to create another successful startup or whatever. So there are two questions. One is that how did you get into idea that you will like to do this, which you are doing as a business sector? And secondly, what were the factors by which you think that your organization succeeded in global international marketing? What will help these people from those lessons? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I answer this question on behalf of the High Media organization and on behalf of my father actually, who is the Varke sir originally, and he was on the stage here along with the governor, Dr. G.M. Varke. So he's the founder and he is a PhD in microbiology. My mother and my uncle, these are the three founders of the company. And I just 5 days ago, on the 28th of Feb, which was a National Science Foundation Day, I was at NMIMS. They invited me to give a talk. And they were asking me to give some guidance to the students also there. And I was just going over things as to from where we are coming and where as a nation we need to go. So I was telling them about FIRE and gig economy. So gig is a big problem today. People just, the young generation wants to do very short patchwork kind of jobs and move on in life. And FIRE is financial independence, retire early. So that's going to burn up the economy and it's not going to get us to Viksit Bharat. So Japan had FIRE concept and they had problems. America did the gig thing and they are struggling over there. And I was telling them real FIRE and then showed them photos of Chhawa, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, and then Veer Savarkar, and then Bhagat Singh. And that is the real FIRE. And that is also the origins of high media. So my father, when he was doing his studies in microbiology at Bhavan's college, masters and PhD, the microbiology media that is needed to do research was imported into the country. And gold at that time was 60 rupees a tola. Those good old days, okay? Now you know where it is. It is beyond the stratosphere and still going higher. At that time, gold was 60 rupees a tola, so 6 rupees a gram. But the microbiology media that was imported into the country for the research that was needed was more expensive than gold. So that bottle of media which would come in would go into the head of the department or HOD's cabin and he would lock it in his cupboard. And then it would get rationed out to the scientists. So my father used to think, how can anybody do research if the reagents needed or if the substances needed to do the research are rationed out in this manner and they are so expensive. So though he was doing earn and learn, he had a job, a full-time job in a pharma company and he was doing very well. His salary was more than his professor's salary, who said that, so when my father asked him, I want to quit my job and give it a try to make microbiology media in India. So the professor said, you have more salary than me and I am at retirement age and you have a bright career ahead of you. You will become the GM of the organization at the age of 31, 32. Why do you want to quit? So he said, no, the struggle I have gone through to try to do research, I don't want fellow scientists to suffer like that. So it's a passion, it's a junoon. And that is what drives all of you also. All of you have hordes of problems. As sir here rightly said, in the morning you get up and then you are wondering, aaj seat ke niche kaun sa bomb phutne wala hai? And then you have to do firefighting, damage control on all levels. That is what it is to run a company, SME especially. So he took it as a challenge. He started from there and that madness, that junoon, that passion, that is what drove. And we started in the kitchen of our home. It was a small apartment in Thane. We still stay in Thane. So he started there, he started making the media there. And from there, we never thought we would hit the kind of sales revenue we have hit today. In fact, just to add, we were the only company. So we have 30,000 SKUs today. There are lots of products that High Media makes, which only High Media makes in the whole world. Mind you, in the whole world. And just to give you a short thing, in my division in cell biology, we make the VTM, viral transport media. So it was imported in India during the 2008-2009 pandemic, the swine flu. And NIV requested us that, okay, all of you are technocrats, you are scientists, so why don't you develop this product and make India self-sufficient? So we did that at that time. And when COVID hit, we got a call from the PMO office. They said that High Media is the only company in India which makes the viral transport media and the swabs. You will report to the PM office 3 times a day because 140 crore people are depending on your production capacity. So for the first 3 months, we were supplying the whole nation. So what I'm saying is, it is a passion about nation building, it is a passion about contributing, and at the end, when we leave this body, okay, when we leave the world, when we look back, it should be a life well lived, worth living for. And our nation it's the most glorious nation on this planet. It is said even the Devatas are dying to take birth in Bharat Bhumi. This is Punya Bhumi. So when we can contribute something to raise this nation, it is our duty, our obligation to do the best for raising this nation. I'll just take 1 more minute. Okay, because I'm sorry, they call me the professor in my family. So they say, tere haath mein mic de diya to tu chipak jata hai. So anyways, but what I want to say is, because I'm involved with the bioeconomy part, I'm also on many government bodies like BIRAC and DBT, NBM and all that. So what I tell people also when I go and meet and talk to youngsters is, see, today we are at 3.7, 3.8 trillion USD GDP. To become Viksit, we have to reach 25 trillion. We might even reach 55 trillion. Now there is real GDP, nominal GDP. We have to make sure that the real GDP grows and not just the nominal, which is real plus inflation. Because if real plus inflation takes us to Viksit Bharat, that means the poor will get poorer and the rich will get richer. If we are able to make sure that the inflation is somehow controlled and the real GDP grows and we then reach 25 trillion, then the nation will benefit, people will come out of poverty. 2,200 whatever dollars, that's the average income of a person in this nation on an average should rise up to $8,000 to $10,000. So what is happening is the bioeconomy of this nation today is $130 billion. And to become a developed nation, Viksit means developed. So we have to become a developed nation. A developed nation's economy should be 10% of its, or rather the bioeconomy should be 10% of the economy. Now what is a bioeconomy? Bioeconomy is agriculture, food, pharma, diagnostics, therapeutics, all these things put together. So 10% of the developed nation's economy should be the bioeconomy. So of 25 trillion, 2.5 trillion has to be the bioeconomy. So 130 billion to 2.5 trillion or 2.6 trillion, you can say for calculation purposes, it's a 20-fold growth. A 20-fold growth that will happen in the next 23 years. So can you imagine, in 78 years, we have come to 130 billion. In another 22 to 23 years, we will become 20 times of that. So the kind of opportunity that is available to this nation is unprecedented. The entire geopolitics that is playing out, we are going to benefit. And that's a different discussion. But the winds of change are blowing in our direction. And for us, these are not headwinds, but they are tailwinds. We should just be patient and ride them well. Nobody can challenge us. We will again become the Sone ki Chidiya.
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा. Thank you so much. And I just want to tell you that as a moderator, when we started this session, usually I would spend 5 minutes with the fellow panelists to just let them know what I expect. So I just told them this on the dais itself, that shoot from your heart. So you can clearly see that Vishal was shooting from his heart and the other people who had asked questions so far. So I think it is very necessary because all the people that are in front of us today are not, they are themselves studied in this university of life, okay? And all have experience, challenges and everything. So I think experienced person like Vishal giving his two kind of insights into how they succeeded in an industry which is highly technically complex, okay? So there is a follow-up question that I'll ask you later, which is how did you succeed in export market? Because not only now that he is stopped the import substitution in India, but you have also gone out because he said that he makes certain things which are not anywhere else made. So we'll come back to you, Vishal, on this particular thing because the group, how do you succeed in international markets is a beautiful question, okay? And any answer to it from a textbook perspective, like a Michael Kotler, or that doesn't work, okay? It has to be heard from the people who have done it, been there and succeeded, okay? So I come now to Mr. Oza, and Jindal Worldwide is where you have kind of established. And my question to you would be, you have a large business, and how did you scale it up? What is the pain of scaling up? Because people in this room are at various stages, okay? From that cocoon to kind of butterfly, that entire stage. And there are pains which are different at all stages of growth. And we would like to know that, in brief, what has been the journey and learnings from it. Over to you, Mr. Vikram.
Yeah, I mean, see, if you belong to Ahmedabad and if you don't fall in love, not physical love or any other love, platonic or anything, but love with textile, I think that will never happen. If you are in Ahmedabad, you will always have an affinity and specific love for textile. So what happens means, see, whoever have been born and brought up in Ahmedabad, they will always think about textiles first. So what happened with our promoters was that, see, during initial years of 2001 and 2, they were traveling to Hong Kong and just were standing at the end of a bridge. And they saw many people wearing denim shorts and pants and even shirts. So everybody was in denim. At that time, denim as a product had just started because, again, Ahmedabad is known as the denim capital of India as well as Manchester of the West. So everybody is interested only at that time. Arvind Mill was making and some 2-3 other units were there in Ahmedabad. And yes, of course, KG Denim in Coimbatore, again, that is a textile hub. They were into denim business. And that wasn't a great item at that time in the textile segment. If you take an average, an American at that point of time, he used to have 8 pairs of denim with him. Even a developing country like Mexico, that people used to have at least 2 pairs of denim, whereas in India the average was just 0.40. I'm talking when we started out with this. So when these people, when our founders experienced that people are more interested in denim outside India, why can't we have it in India and let's start on a bigger scale? But as we were just a beginner, you can say a tiny industry or even a medium scale one, capital was a big issue. But we took advantage of various government schemes then. Textile Upgradation Funds, TUFs, was introduced in 1999 and it incentivized people who were trying to enter into textile business. So we took that an opportunity and we had our borrowings based on that scheme where there was a capital subsidy as well as the interest subsidy to the extent of 5%. And during those years, since our present Prime Minister was the Chief Minister at the time of the state, he wanted to develop textile. So they again, state government gave additional incentive in the form of interest subsidy. And that's how we started out initially with a 10 million meter capacity. And in addition to this, our entrepreneurship gets reflected in the fact that others were having for 1 million meters, that is called 10 million meters, that is called one line of denim. The normal cost during those periods was 50 crores, whereas we incentivized and we, through innovation, we saw to it that we got the same line at 35 crore instead of 50 crore. That's how we started out. What we did, every year in the Germany, there is a city called Frankfurt, where the textile exhibition takes place. So we went there, attended that, and after having watched how the various machines were displayed there, we got a team of engineers from Ahmedabad itself and took them to the Frankfurt Fair and asked them to study the design of the machines. And once they were convinced, yes, we can replicate that same machine here with a reduced cost, we started out with that in, say, 20 years back. When we started out, we were just a 10 million meter capacity. In these next 2 decades, we have expanded 14 times to our initial capacity, and we are ranked today as Asia's largest denim fabric manufacturing company, as well as second largest at the global level. And that happened over a period of this thing. And what we did means we are an excellent people having their finance background. So what they did was that leveraging capital, maximizing capital. Capital does not mean finance only in my view. It includes manpower, raw material, machinery, all those things. If you try to get optimum output out of that, I think this transition from a tiny industry to the largest industry which competes at a global level is definitely possible, and that is what we showed to the world. Uh, can I go ahead? Means it can continue for a very long time. Means how
Another
we
minute, please.
develop.
1 more minute, please.
1 minute
One more
will
minute,
not be
yeah.
enough for me. So, shall I leave it for the other question? Means
Yeah,
second
I think
answer?
so, yeah.
Yeah, this is just the beginning, yes.
Yeah,
I can go into more depth if anybody has any questions, how to leverage each and every asset. That also I can tell you because I have done it myself from an initial zero level to this present level.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Oza. And it's indeed, this is a limited time format, but I think life is not. So I think the stories that you can tell, the stories that can be shared by a entrepreneur who had first-hand experience is going to be really challenging. And because I think couple of things that you have said, which is, I think as a summary and as a essence of this is, I think size doesn't matter. We are all going to be small at one point in life. And vision at that point in time is the most important aspect, because what will happen subsequently will depend on that vision. So I think what your organization saw is the large opportunity which was there. And all of us will start obviously small, but then that vision transforms for all of us. And it is necessary that that vision is built when there are no capabilities, when there is no finances. The vision has to be, the dream has to be at the beginning when there are no resources, because resources get created and you strive for those resources subsequently. So thank you so much, and we'll come back to you with one more question subsequently. Now I'll go to Mr. Gupta. And he is chairman of Global Engineering Limited, Engineers Limited. And we would like to understand from you in brief your journey, the challenges, and what succeeded for you. Please.
Yeah, good
Over to you,
afternoon,
Mr.
friends. I start my address with a message to my fellow entrepreneurs. You must be ready for failures. Let me tell you, I'm a mechanical engineer, and my PhD was for nuclear science, so my friends call me nuclear scientist. I started my company 42 years ago with the main purpose of creating innovations. And I've created several innovations which has brought me 3 national awards from President of India and 12 other national awards besides. The first product that I developed was a punch tape concertina coil, which is a high security fencing, and it was employed at Punjab border, and which has stopped completely Sikh terrorism. And that gave me the first national award from President of India, Mr. Venkataraman. Now I must tell you, I have been continuously doing innovation, and the last innovation was that I contributed for fast breeder reactor at Kalpakam, which is a pilot plant. It was done by, main body was done by Larsen and Toubro, and the rest of the work was done by my design and developed by my company. And this fast breeder reactor is working successfully for the last 18 years. The Manmohan Singh government wanted to replicate the fast breeder reactors in the country, but Modi ji was not interested. He said he wants to promote solar power. But now, since solar power is not enough, so they're going for nuclear power. And I must tell you, this fast breeder reactor, the beauty is it doesn't use uranium, because we are begging for uranium for running our present 4 old plants. It uses the sand lying at the beaches of Kerala, the pink color sand, which is known as thorium. And this is a nuclear material. You use it for burning, and the residue that you get out of it is uranium. So with that uranium, you can run your old plants. And in between, I have done several innovations. I won't take much time. I was the first one who developed a painterless, fully automatic painting plant for railway coaches, for helicopters, for aircrafts, HAL uses them, Indian Railway workshops, 32 workshops use them, because earlier the painters used to die at the age of 50 plus minus because of inhaling the spray of the paint. And this is a fully automatic. This painting plant can do the painting of all sides in different colors and also do the writing. Without any operator, only in air-conditioned cable, a computer operator is sitting and managing it. And then we have given to Hindustan Aircraft Limited, Bangalore. We have for helicopters and aircrafts, and we have also given to the Army workshop there for painting the T-72 battlefield tanks. Now, I must tell you one thing. The journey has been tough and rough, but today, I must tell you, you may not be able to guess my age. I'm 84-year-old. Oh. I work 5 days a week from 10 to 6:30 in the office in Delhi, and I do MBA from IIM Sambalpur on weekends. Saturdays and Sundays. And I have just completed MBA and I've topped. Now, I must tell you, you should never stop working. That's my message.
Yeah.
And I feel very good about my colleague on the left, that he is working. You must continue to work, and I'll tell my children, and I've got grandchildren now who are in the company. I tell them I'll work till my last breath. So,
Fantastic.
and I may also tell you some of my achievements. I am one of the highest taxpayers in India. The 60,000 top taxpayers. The CBDT board has issued me the gold certificate. I'm the gold taxpayer, in the category gold taxpayer, which I think the MSMEs, I submitted that certificate also, and I'm a gold taxpayer. And I must tell you with a proud, from day one, I started paying tax honestly. The first year of my starting, my turnover was 36 lakhs, and income was about 3.15 lakhs. My CA told me that Vishwanath Pratap Singh was the finance minister. He has said that if your income is 2,50,000, there will be no scrutiny. There will be no scrutiny. And he said, sir, these income tax people harass you. You have to, if I show 3.1 lakh, they will harass you and they will ask you for some money or something like that. So he said, can I reduce it to 2,45,000? I said, no. I will pay 3,10,000 rupees tax and I will face the tax authorities. It happened, and I narrated this story before the Assistant Commissioner Income Tax, and he signed my file.
So nice.
So, you know, the honesty always pays. And from that day till now, I have got 5 companies in umbrella, my umbrella, with a turnover of around 500 crores, approximately. And my net worth is over 1,000 crores.
Excellent.
See, all this I created as a small entrepreneur, growing, and of course, let me tell you one thing. The MSMEs have got tremendous advantage as an entrepreneur. And I do most of the job with the government. You don't pay anything for the tender fee. You don't pay any EMD. You are exempted for even, for so many things besides, you know. So we should take advantage of all the facilities, even the loans. I have got my bank limits, fund-based and non-fund-based limit, without any collateral. And the banks are after me to increase it. My bank was then a bank at that time. And the chairman, whenever he will come to Delhi, will invite some entrepreneurs, and I was one of them always. And he used to tell me, why you don't take more limits, more fund-based limits. I tell him, sir, I like your bank. The name is Dena Bank, Dena, so I don't need it. So what I'm trying to say, that please have courage, strength, and do not get beaten by failures. I faced many failures, I don't want to narrate them, but in spite of that, in 42 years of my journey, I have I started, of course, as an entrepreneur with 19 years working in a textile mill. As you said, it was DCM. At that time, sir, DCM used to be the 5th largest group of India. And I rose through the ranks. In 14 years, I had 7 promotions, and I was the youngest general manager of a factory, having 7,500 workers and 200 officers. Then I got an opportunity, I got a national award at that time for DCM on energy conservation. The profit of my factory used to be 50% contributed by me. I used to save steam, power and water to the extent that it will contribute 50% of the profit of the company. And that you know, as you said, there is a fair, engineering fair in Hanover every year. It is world's biggest engineering fair. And in 1979, they invited me to read the paper on energy conservation. And there somebody who was one of in the audience offered me a job in US, in Pittsburgh Steel, as Vice President, Pittsburgh Steel, Energy Conservation. I accepted the job. I went there, and my salary was, I was interviewed by India Today in 1979 in US as second highest paid Indian there. But in spite of that, I didn't like. I got the green card. I returned to my country. I said, I'll serve my country. Because I used to see this fencing at Pentagon. Pentagon used to call us for developing a special steel. And I saw that fencing and I researched it. And ultimately, I could reach the gentleman in Germany who was producing it. And he had tied up with NATO for 10 years that he can't neither give the technology nor the plant and machinery. So I just visited his factory and copied it. And that's how I invented the product. And today, I used to tell my wife that in my lifetime, I'll see it everywhere. I don't know about Bombay, but once you are in Delhi, every house, every bungalow has a fencing of my product. That is the situation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
as I said, my first message was, be ready for the failures, and my last message was, be honest, keep on growing, take advantage of the government facilities available to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gupta ji. I think the power of this SME chamber that I've been associated for a couple of decades is the power that it brings in these stories, people who have created these stories. And it's a platform where you can hear those stories, and that's why it becomes a unique experience, and it is very fulfilling. So the key message here is innovation, the power of innovation that he has been able to navigate through, and the honesty. Okay, these are fundamental two things he has said. So I think with that, I would like to tell you the story about innovation that has helped us. Okay, we are a company which manufactures vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is what you get when you stand in sun. None of us stand in sun, so we are all deficient. About 85% of Indians are deficient in vitamin D3 and B12 also, because we are also largely vegetarian. So the complication is that vitamin D3 is also made, the starting material is from sheep wool, and therefore it is animal origin. As far as pharmaceutical drugs are concerned, there is no red and green dot, because drug is a drug and everyone gets it. But when it comes to food, you cannot put the same D3 without putting a red dot on it. And Indians are 75% people are vegetarian. The balance 25% people don't eat on Mondays, then Thursdays, and whenever wife tells them, okay? So it becomes extremely complex in this country to sell anything with red dot, okay? So what do you do now? So we started finding out, and we have been producing this product for last 60 years with the animal origin stuff. The red and green dot is very, very nascent concept, last decade and a half or something like that. So how do you then produce a vitamin D3 with a green dot? Because it was never produced on planet with a green source. So we started researching that milk, for example, milk fat has cholesterol, and you must have seen there are butters available now which are with a lower cholesterol labeling on it. So there is a process by which you can take cholesterol out. That is a starting material for the animal origin D3. But now that milk fat has got, we started producing, we attempted to produce vitamin D3 with the milk fat. But then the problem is that milk fat is itself very expensive. So you cannot reach in a scale, and not enough butter is made which is with low cholesterol, because Indians don't care. Yeah. Okay, we like our fat. I mean, as you go north, the size of that ball increases on the paratha. Okay, so it is impossible to kind of source enough fat which is with cholesterol high content in it. So it did not work. We made the product at lab level, but it was not so failure. Okay, it was not commercially viable. Failure can be for many reasons. It could be chemistry, it could be the marketing, it could be the scaling up of the raw material or whatever. It did not work. Then we went to phytosterols, which is from soybean in kind of chemistry. And after something like from the first attempt to now, it was 8 years that it took to produce it from the soybean seeds. So soybean seeds, after the oil is refined and it goes into the food purposes, there is a scum which is a residue. In that there are phytosterols. So it is a waste, and we created a product out of that waste. And about 6 months ago, we finished all the trials and kind of we have now applied to the FSSAI for the non-specified food product approval, and we are launching it globally. So something like 6-7 years, the time you have to have the perseverance to go through that pain. Nothing will be created without that pain. And it is must, okay? And the failures which come with it is part of that. So I completely agree with Gupta ji that journey is very important, I think. And when I stand today, the SME Chamber awarded us for that innovation because it is the first time anywhere on the planet that a green D3 from pure format, which is pharmacopoeial. So we produce a product from plant which is matching all pharmacopoeias on planet. So that's what is the innovation, power of innovation. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
So
Now
I understand why I have received the award from them, which has a separate, only one, separate heading of the award.
Thank you. So I think I'll come back to Vishal once again because we had left one question, and ultimately all of us want to be the breadwinner in the house, which is the exports, okay? Bring currency, the valuable foreign exchange into the country and grow our own domestic GDP. And he has been very successful in export market. So just tell us, because there are they have choices internationally, okay? They are not forced to buy from you. So what was the principles on which you were able to kind of establish yourself in the international market? So very specific to the international market.
Quality first. That has been our guiding principle from the first day. In 78, my father, so coincidentally his initials are also GM and Dr. GM, and sir also is Dr. GM. My dad also is running 85 now, and he's also 84. So that's very coincidental. So in 78, the Japanese invited us because there was a certain product they wanted, and they went all over the world, and then they had also come to India. So somebody said that if you want these products, Dr. GM Varke can do it in India for you. So they were surprised that an Indian company could do that. And then we made the product and gave it to them. So they were very surprised. The product was at par with the British and the German and the American qualities. So they invited us to visit. So there, they were giving a tour of the facility. So my father and mother were taking the tour. During the tour, they would show, this is prime grade for domestic market. This is second grade for export. Of course, the second grade also is very good. It goes all over the world and people buy it because it's very good quality. And then when father asked them, why is this so? They said, see, we are Japanese. We live in this country. If we don't make the best for our own people, who will make it? So whatever is the best we keep for our own nation, we sell it and we give it to our people. The second grade we export. And at that time, you can imagine in the 70s, 80s, even today you have export quality written on some boxes, right? And then this thought process is there that what is the best quality should be exported because usme paisa milega. And that which is not so good, okay, kahin bhi becho, chalta hai. So that impacted him. And anyway, quality was always the ethos of the company. But coming back to the answer of the question, the quality first. So we have always stuck to quality at any cost, whatever be the issue. You never compromise on quality, that's one. Second, you should not try to aim lower. That, okay, India mein big gaya bahut hai, if it sells in our country, it's good enough. No. The thought process was always that if a German can make it, or if a Japanese or an American can make it, and it's one of the best in the world, what can we do to make it better than them, or at par with them? That's one. And the second is, how do we also make it affordable? So this has been our journey throughout, to make the best quality that is possible in the world, to innovate. So we are 7 Dr. Varkes in the family actually. So I have done MBBS from Science, I have done PhD from the US, my brother is a PhD, my wife is a doctor, so there is a long list. Essentially what happens is we have many scientists in the company too. But in the central DNA of the organization, because we are all technocrats, we don't bother about the money comes. But the pleasure and the joy is to develop products which are cutting edge. And that is what drives us all the time. And that is what drives most people here, all of you too. And these are the stories that are making India. So essentially quality. And the second is kill the reason of the cost. So some ways we benefit because the rupee is kind of depreciating. So if you can create import substitutes, the depreciating rupee will give you an export advantage. But if you are dependent too much on imports as raw material inputs for your finished product, then you will lose that edge. So this is something we have to look at, how we can develop indigenous resources in the nation, which anyway, India is much more affordable and cheaper. If you look at the price of commodities and many things in our country, it's much lower than what is there in the other parts of the world. And China is a big giant now that we have to contend with, but that's a different issue. But essentially, kill the reason of the cost, reduce the cost, and keep the quality at the global level. At least in a nutshell, I can say this much. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Vishal. This was very, very insightful, very insightful. So I think cost control is also something which comes out of scale. And for scale, you need to go to expand your market share, which comes out of the export market. So all of them are very interlinked to each other, because that is how. And for that you need to, if you have to go to export market, then you can't say that this is my quality. You have to match, there are established international standards and competition, both. So once you accept that I'll compete with the best, then the story is over. Then it is the happiness after that, okay? So I think we are towards the end of this. I see movement of Mr. Chandrakant Salunke, so that is also an indication that we should now kind of, so what we will do now is, there is one last question and very brief answer, if it is possible. But this is very important, because I think I would like to specifically ask, because there is no stage. I am now 34, 35 years into this industry, but I always look for advice, okay? I always look for some insights that can come to me. And it is always very inspiring when you meet fellow panelists and fellow entrepreneurs sitting in this room, have interactions and know what people do, okay? So my question now, the final question is that, what is therefore the advice that each one of us think can give in order to succeed, okay? So just couple of points that you think, in your opinion, are absolutely must, okay, that has defined your life. And the theme has been, we shoot from heart, okay? So no textbook answers, okay? Dil se baat ho, okay? So coming to you, Jothi ji first, and then to you, Vishal.
Yes, sir. Before getting into this, even Shashikant Sab asked me this question. I thought I want to reveal the secret recipe, which I think everyone is struggling in their business entrepreneurship, about raising funds. I'll just say a quick case study. I think definitely will help a lot of people, so I want to spell it out, which actually happened, more than a story. When I started a company, I was a 3-month-old company. I went into a trading business. I got an order procurement for 200 crore. And I was able to raise a fund for 5 crore as an unsecured loan. Hope people who have been in the business world can clearly understand how difficult it is. Raising a fund, an unsecured fund for a 3-month-old company, and that too for a trading business, not being a manufacturing. So this is what the real challenge is. When we run a business, raising fund has been very challenging. So I want to say what I did, and I hope that will help a lot of people here. See, I was approaching an NBFC, and again, I think others were told, so even if it's an NBFC, they have come within this Reserve Bank of regulations. They have the credit policies. They cannot give loan to anyone as it is. So they have the conditions and policies. Once you understand that, and you address those solutions, you could come through it. So what I did is, so we went for an escrow model. So we give like my account receivables. I said like, we'll go through their control. So they had a transparency and control over my account receivable and also my account payable. So the only difference what we made is, usually an entrepreneur hesitates to give the control over his account to another NBFC guy. So that's where it stops him to go the extra leap. So we did that. We did that extra leap. We did that escrow account partnership. And yes, they had a control. It's a joint control. They had a transparency. But this made a lot of change. So I keep on telling this to a lot of people. Yes, there are a lot of stories inspiring, but this is actual, what I would say, maybe a hack, which can actually help people to raise fund. So, so you go to the next level, then a second or third year, the bank can come out to raise funds for you. So this is the third year of my company. I started with 26 crore. Next year we crossed 190 crore turnover. The third year we were in 400 crore turnover. My next year order booking was 500 crore. And this year my loan, which I was able to raise from the banks directly, was 27 crores. And still I'm keeping my NBFC who helped me from the beginning. So the 5 crore loan I'm still keeping and taking forward. So this is a kind of hack which I want to share with you people, which can really help you in raising your funds. Be open your mind with the kind of different modern solutions which is coming from the banks, which is the NBFCs are coming up. And I also propose even banks to come up with this kind of solution, because what the real trouble with NBFCs is people may have their hesitation to go with this kind of modern solutions. But if the banks can come with a similar kind of solution, if it's going to be an Indian bank or any nationalist bank, we will immediately jump to it. So I hope that SME can also think about it, bringing this to the banks. This kind of solutions can really help the MSCs to raise the funds and grow further. Yeah, this is the kind of, also you can take it as an advice from my side, to be openness to the new kind of solutions coming in and raise the funds and grow your business. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Vishal. The same question is the same for you also. Couple of things that you believe passionately is what you would advise the women entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs, the old entrepreneurs, everyone. 2 things or 3 things that you think will succeed. You have largely said many things, but if you have to just concoct and say, this is what your personal life's belief has been. Okay?
I'll just quickly say something. The Chinese have a proverb, may you live in interesting times. Have you heard of this? May you live in interesting times. This is a Chinese proverb. 1,000 years this nation has gone through great suffering and turmoil. 1,000 years. The British we got freedom, and then from there we have come to $3.7, $3.8 trillion. So as a GDP, what I want to say is the next 20 years is going to define this nation. What we can do in these 20 years, we as a generation of Indians will do that which for 1,000 years our ancestors and people have been struggling to do, to revive, to resuscitate this entire nation. Whatever has been put in the past by all the people, we are at the threshold, at the crossroads of time, where everything is in our hands. Just 20 years. If we do things right these 20 years, we will again go to our past glory. We were the #1 economy on the planet for 2,000 years. I hope most of you know this, right? And we will get there. So the only thing which I feel and I believe is, if we have that passion, if we understand the responsibility that lies on our shoulders and the opportunities that lie ahead. When I tell people Swarth Parmarth, so our ancestors, lots of them had to do Parmarth. They had to sacrifice. But now it is possible to do Parmarth and Swarth both. You can also get what you want, but put Parmarth above the Swarth. And in 20 years, we have to make sure we become Viksit Bharat and we pull the nation out of the pit and the poverty that it has sunk into. That is all I would like to say. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Vishal. To you, Mr. Oza, the same question. What do you feel passionately that you would like to advise this young crowd? For you, this is all young people there.
Yes, basically 3 things I would like to stress. Success is never a solo journey. It is the result of teamwork. That is the first advice. So always follow. Second one, I always like KISS, K-I-S-S. Keep it simple. Then 4th word I don't want to use for me. Okay. And the always 3rd one is always keep your eyes and ears open. Government is always incentivizing industrialization and creation of jobs. Try to understand and take maximum advantage of whatever is being offered, then the complaint about finance and everything will evaporate. And of course, I am adding 4th one, never get disappointed. Keep your passion firing, and you will, at the end of the tunnel, there will be light. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very, very important. Thank you. Very inspiring. Mr. Gupta, your final words on things that you passionately believe.
I think I told that already in my discussion earlier. You have to be perseverance and be ready for failures. I give you one example to enumerate my point of view. In 80s, when I started my company, I needed a bank limits because in government you need to give bank guarantees. So I approached Dana Bank, and Dana Bank, because I had an account, so after 1 year, the Dana Bank said, well, we could have sanctioned you the limit, but unfortunately, we have got orders from the chairman that no proposal will be processed for limits for some time. I said, can I meet your chairman? He said, well, he sits at Cuff Parade in one of the buildings, and our office is on 10th floor, so I can get you an appointment and you go and meet him. I flew to Bombay. I went to the building and I found there is no electricity in the building and all lifts were stopped. They were not working. And there used to be no generators, standby generators. I climbed 10 floors. I climbed 10 floors non-stop continuously in one stroke. And when I presented my visiting card to his secretary, the chairman was shocked. He said, how you have come? I told him, sir, I have climbed. He said, no, tell me what's your problem. And believe me, he just gave the orders to the branch, sanctioning the limit.
Very good. Very good.
This is the strength of perseverance.
Thank you so much.
You have to continue pushing.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And you said you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you see the light.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Now, finally, to Mr. Modi, what is your take on what succeeds? Okay, what is the advice for the group?
So I think most of the points are covered, but
Yeah.
just like to say that identifying, grooming, and investing in talent is very important. You alone cannot make a large organization. There has to be a team along with you. Have you take your people along, delegate. And lastly, I would like to say that with a little bit of luck by your side, difference between successful and not so successful is execution. So that's all I'd like to say.
Thank you so much. I think very well said in short. So I think just summing up everything that we have heard in the last 45 minutes or so, my own kind of belief is that we all reach the top of the top as entrepreneurs by having some technical expertise. It could be manufacturing, operations, logistics, finance, or whatever it is. But when we reach at top, please understand that that is not what is going to keep you and your organization at top. I think the most important skill that keeps you there is the ability to command respect and trust from your teams, which is what Modi ji also said. And I think you have to become the chief people person, because my own experience has been the work needed to be done at top is so much that unless and until you have ability to inspire and also control through execution that team, nothing will happen. So therefore, you have to become the chief people person. And you cannot say that I'm the best engineer on this team and I can design. You have to sometimes just let other engineers do that job. What you have to do is bring best out of people. You make each other look good. That is what is the job of an entrepreneur. That is what I firmly believe. And I go to work and I make everyone in my team look good on that every single morning. That is what I do. And then they reciprocate, and then there is growth. So that is a simple thank you so much for being so patient. Thank you also for your phones, because they did not. And I think after an initial while, you never regretted that the phone was not ringing, okay? So thank you so much for such a patient audience. And thank you, Mr. Salunke, for giving us this opportunity to be talking to each other. So over to the organizers. I can, definitely. Any question, we can take 2 questions. I think there is lunch and us between this. So please. On, mic do unko. No, it will help because it may not reach.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think this was a really enthralling session. I had almost tears in my eyes when some of you all were speaking about the bomb underneath the table, because I was sorting some bombs before you announced that we should not look at the mobile phones, and it was really helpful. I like a quick question. If I was talking to my colleagues on the left and right, I think one of the biggest challenges micro and small, enterprises face is how to grow out of that nutshell, right? Because still around 97% are small and micro, if I'm not wrong, when it comes to the Indian context. So my quick question is that what is it? What is that secret sauce which enables you to grow from that small mindset to actually a large, enterprise? We spoke about scaling up, that whole thing of scaling up. What comes first? Is it getting the contracts, just pushing, or get the team first and then push for contracts? So what is it that really helps scaling up? That's my question.
Very, very good. Can you introduce yourself so
Yeah,
that will
sure,
help
sure.
everyone in the audience?
Yeah, my name is Ashutosh Karangate. So I own this company called Mangal Analytics and Research Consulting. We are a growth advisory firm, which is predominant into mergers and acquisitions, market research, and SOP, and so on and so forth. One quick thing about me, which could be interesting, is I went back to Goa, which is my hometown, and started the company there. My mom passed away, and that's the reason I had to go. I was a part of PwC in Mumbai, but thought that's also a good excuse to start something on my own. So Mangal is her name, and I started the whole journey from there. So would love to take her name upwards, and that's the reason I always have this passion about things.
Thank you so much, Ashutosh. We are sorry for your loss, but I think every single difficulty itself gives you open challenge, doors to the future opportunities. पीछे लेके जाओ, वो मैडम को दो. हाँ, पीछे से. Yeah. So I will first try to answer Ashutosh and then come to you. So I think I'll just start because there were a couple of things that I said, and that is the question is also in reflection. So when does the size increase? Size doesn't increase with time. That is a wrong concept. It doesn't. It will eventually increase with time, but I think the vision that the entrepreneur has at the beginning, and that vision should include the solution. Because all of us are in this room and our customers, whoever that is, in any part of the world, is with us or he will help us grow, is only because you have a solution, which could be product or service, whatever, it doesn't matter. That solution, if you are able to bring a solution which is every single morning honed, which means that you have to keep sculpting that, okay? वो चाकू होता है ना, उसको धार लगाना जरूरी है रोज सुबह. So जो भी कुछ कर रहे हैं हम लोग, उस अगर सॉल्यूशन को शार्प किया जाए रोज सुबह, तो फिर स्केल ऑटोमेटिक होनी है, ओके? क्योंकि आप उस चीज को स्केल नहीं कर सकते हो जो बड़े होने की औकात नहीं उसकी, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ओके? Everyone cannot grow. You have to have something, that solution has to have merit. And I think we all, so therefore, all the top companies in the world, for example, Apple, the top person should never dissociate himself from product development and the improvement subsequently. ये रोज सुबह सबसे पहले आके कैश फ्लो का स्टेटमेंट देखना बेवकूफ़ी है. आप वो नहीं देख सकते हो क्योंकि वो तो आपको खा जाएगा सुबह आधे घंटे में. आपका सबसे पावरफुल जो एरिया है, जो पावरफुल 1 घंटा आपका सुबह का, वो अगर कैश फ्लो और लॉजिस्टिक के लोगों को लेके बैठोगे तो कैसे होगा बॉस? It has to go towards that solution. I'm not demeaning anyone. Because those logistic problem, when a consignment is stuck at a port in Europe and is asking for documents, it can completely deprioritize everything else on table. You can't start day like that. The top person has to start day by improving the solutions that he has for whatever he's offering. And that is the only way. And then you need to have followed by vision, because if you're working on that solution, the vision will take you to scale, okay? So that is my answer. Ma'am, please.
Namaskar, sir. It's very wonderful program you have today. I'm from Maharashtra Industries PSU. So I'm representing the company which is 250 years old and heavy engineering. We build submarine and shipbuilding. My basic requirement to attend this program was that we are lacking the 3% and 4% participation
Okay. Thank you for raising this very important topic, because even as an organization, we keep having this because we are a listed entity and we are. Sit down, madam. Okay.
What Gupta has told, it means, I will tell it in very desi language, with the emphasis on the 30,000 crore, 40,000 crore worth of order is there. Where it is mandated 25% is to be given to a small and micro business. Our budget goes to 32%, etc. Because of the very traditional system where the same supplier is, bilaterally we are in the industrial hub of the Mumbai. But 4% and 3% from SC, ST and women. Every month we are putting our officers everywhere in Maharashtra in all the defense corridors, inviting the manufacturers. Somebody was telling that finance is not available. 70% finance as an organization we are willing to give. So many items are under make one list. That is PIL, means it is import ban is to be there. Nobody is coming. First time we are blessed to with this manufacturers group. I request each one. See, the bank will charge something for the development of the item. 70% finance we are willing to give. Entire one citizen portal is there where any of the manufacturer in the entire area of the defense requirement, which has got a massive opportunity to back on the order. And order also on perpetual basis because security is an inevitable need of the country. So maybe because of the lack of communication, because I also am MSME Ministry, then MSME Directorate, the District Industrial Center, we are attending, I am attending at least 10, 20, but this fora, I am blessed to have present a manufacturer. I seek the, our plea before them to participate in the ecosystems where the Atmanirbhar, make one, make two, even the government is willing to give, industry is funding, be as individual organization is funding, even IDEX is funding. It means finance is not a problem. Secondly, the government business. See, nobody, anyone was telling that payment is after 60 days, etc. I wish to inform you. We are the only PSU where we are paying within 10 to 15 days. Second thing is, JM is a mandate. If somebody does not pay within the 10 days, there is a fine. Third, for small and manufacturing enterprises, nobody, no government organization can make the delay because two ways there is an impact. One is you have to pay 1.5 times interest penalty in case of delayed payment. Secondly, there is an open MSME grievance portal where the SME can file the grievance.
Yeah, you will have to keep the question short, okay. But I've understood. I think I had never had a regret since the morning, but I'm now in a regret that I'm not in defense because 10 दिन का payment तो मैं यानी सोच भी नहीं सकता हूँ कि ऐसा हो सकता है. तो fantastic. I think this is something which is more structural in nature for the country. I'm very happy to know that a department from government which is procuring is wanting to do everything that can be done so that a woman entrepreneurship and AC or whatever it is there, the procurement can happen. I think this is Mr. Salunkeji. In the chamber, we have taken note of this, and we have a large directory of people who can participate, including defense vendors and all of that. And we will get in touch with you with this particular information as to where you can go. And you have an Indian list of entrepreneurs also across India because you are now going to different districts. So we can certainly help you post this. So thank you so much. I think we are now going past our time. Thank you for being patient listeners and all the best for your future journey. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I'm pretty happy to be here. Thanks so much for Salon to give me the opportunity to present, to make presentation on the China International Supply Chain Expo. Please first relax a little bit. We enjoy a short video, okay? Please play the video.
What is CISCE? As the world's first national exhibition with the theme of supply chain, China International Supply Chain Expo, or CISCE, is committed to creating a new window for promoting an open world economy. CISCE upholds internationalization, specialization, market orientation, and green development as its standards. In 2023, the first CISCE was celebrated by the China Council Beijing with great success, and Chinese Premier Li Chang participated in the opening ceremony. In 2024, Chinese Vice President Han Zheng attended the opening ceremony of the second CISE, held from November 26th to 30th. The second expo made brand new breakthroughs. It attracted 200,000 visitors in total and facilitated connections between 620 exhibitors from 69 countries and regions with more than 37,000 suppliers in upstream and downstream industrial chains, which helped to reach 6,700 cooperation agreements worthy of $22 billion. Among the exhibitors, more than 60% were global Fortune 500 and industry leaders, who have brought along over 400 partners and suppliers to take part in the expo. Why join the CISE?
We could not do what we do without them.
In the CISE, different sectors are poised to find partnership and need for the efficient and professional supply chain. The expo aims to connect upstream, midstream, and downstream sectors, bring together large, medium, and small enterprises, coordinate industry, academia, research, and practical application, and foster interaction between Chinese and international businesses. In-depth communication and interaction are facilitated in the expo. Thematic activities, workshops, and dialogues, matchmakings are held, whereas important documents like the Beijing Initiative for International Cooperation on Industrial and Supply Chains, the Global Supply Chain Promotion Report 2024 were also released at the expo, boasting the cutting-edge fruits of world's technological and industrial innovation. Both the World Intellectual Property Organization and the China National Intellectual Property Administration were present at CISE, along with the legal service workstations of CCCPIT, providing intellectual property protection and legal service. More than 1,300 journalists from nearly 100 countries and regions released over 100,000 news articles on the expo, reaching 27.9 billion audiences worldwide. What to expect from the third CISE? The third CISE would take place during July 16th and 20th, 2025 at the China International Exhibition Center, Shri venue in Beijing. The expo features 6 key industrial chains and 1 exhibition area, namely Advanced Manufacturing Chain, Clean Energy Chain, Smart Vehicle Chain, Digital Technology Chain, Healthy Life Chain, Green Agriculture Chain, and Supply Chain Service Exhibition Area. Various events will be held during the expo, including seminars, investment promotion conferences, workshops and dialogues, business matchmakings, and new products debuts, to provide an efficient and comprehensive exchange and cooperation platform. The CISE is here for all sectors in need, targeting the coordinated development of global supply chain and industrial chain, connecting the world for a shared future.
My name's Harris from China Council for the Promotion of International Trade in China, which is the largest trade and investment promotion organization in China. My office here is committed to promoting trade and investment cooperation between China and India. You have just watched this video focusing on China International Supply Chain Promotion Expo, which was launched by our council in 2023. This year in July, the 3rd edition of the Supply Chain Expo will be staged. The aim is to consolidate and strengthen supply chain cooperation across industries around the world. The first and second Supply Chain Expo was successfully held, achieving remarkable results that captured global attention. Please allow me to give me the brief introduction on this Supply Chain Expo. Mr. Salonki led the delegation participate in the first Supply Chain Expo. This is the venue entitled China International Exhibition Center with a total exhibition area of 24,000 square meters. This is some photos of opening ceremony in the second Supply Chain Expo. This is the post-show report during the 5-day expo in the second supply chain, which was just concluded last November. There were a total of 200,000 visitors, including professional buyers home abroad. There were a total of 620 exhibitors from 69 countries and regions worldwide. And over 60% of them were Fortune Global 500 or leading players in their respective industries. The expo resulting in over 210 agreements signed with a total value of $21 billion. There were 69 thematic events, including forums or roundtables, 370 business matchmakings, receiving more than 100 overseas delegations. International participation accounted for 32% of the total. To quote a CEO of a multinational company who participated in the expo in a row, his comment is this: the first expo in 2023 was beyond expectation, while the second in 2024 was transcendent. Now comes to the third edition of this expo. This expo this year will continue the layout of 16 plus 1 exhibition area featuring advanced manufacturing, digital technology, clean energy, smart vehicle, healthy life, green agriculture, and the supply chain service area. The advanced manufacturing chain will showcase 4 major sections, including front-end R&D, application of new materials, processing of key components, and AI manufacturing. We are proud to bring together leading global manufacturers across the key industry. And the clean energy chain, focusing on source, grid, load, and storage, highlights the full cycle chain of sustainable energy from supply to consumption. The smart vehicle chain will showcase the key technologies and products across the entire industry. It will display core battery, new materials, chips, batteries, and intelligent connected technologies, system integration, and the EV charging system and battery recycling. At the first expo, Tesla showed EV Model Y, invited by our chairman Musk, came to China and visited the expo. Tesla also participated in the second expo. The components localization rate of a Tesla factory in Shanghai has exceeded 95%, and more than 400 local suppliers has been signed in China, of which more than 60 suppliers have entered the Tesla global supply chain system. And the global technology chain will concentrate on innovation and empowerment, covering bottom-level technology transformation, middle-level incubation, and super-level application scenario. Apple participated in the first and second expo in a row. In the second expo, invited by our chairman, Apple CEO, Mr. Tim Cook, came to China to visit expo. Apple invited 4 Chinese suppliers, presenting Apple's supply chain of parts assembly, optical lens technology, packaging, manufacturing, and quality inspection. The healthy life chain will showcase the products and the technologies of the health industry that spans the entire life cycle from infancy to old age, including daily routines, work, travel, leisure time, aiming to meet people's diverse health-related needs in all respects of life. The green agriculture chain will present a comprehensive display of the elements along the entire agricultural chain, spanning from farmland where crops grow to the dining table where the produce is served. The supply chain service exhibition area showcase logistics, legal affairs, finance, business consultation sector. The expo is the first and the only professional trade exhibition on supply chains in the world. Our goal is to foster long-term and stable cooperative relationships between companies and facilitate global industrial and supply chain partnership all over the world. Thus, I concluded my presentation. Sincerely invite you all through you to invite related companies to participate in the expo, showcasing your good technologies, products, and services, or come to China to visit expo, seeking business opportunities. We will do our utmost to meet your need. You have got our brochure, and please do feel free to contact us. Thanks for your attention.
A heartfelt thank you to Mr. Harris Liu for such an insightful presentation. Your expertise and valuable perspectives have truly enriched today's session. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Harris Liu. How much this will be beneficial to our SME sector? Those are buying or exporting this China and other countries. Anyway, thank you very much. All youngsters have given their, particularly experience. All the, speakers, those I spoke about quality leadership. This information or this discussion, debate or suggestions or, guidelines, whatever the Vishal and all the speakers are given, I think this will be useful for every entrepreneur. Not only just, existing entrepreneurs, but, startups also. And we focus more on how we can connect senior entrepreneur and junior entrepreneur, because the experience, both the speakers sitting last, how much experience they have, that is the most important for you. Mr. Mohan Rathorji here, he was a IPS officer, and he has worked with all the top level people in Maharashtra. So whatever he has learned, he is giving the guidance to the other IPS officer कि ये करना है, ये नहीं करना है, ये ऐसे करना है, ऐसे किया जाता है. Similarly, the Praveen Pardeshi, you heard all, he was instrumental to transformation of the policy of the government of Maharashtra. And my organization took initiative in 1999 to change the, particularly industrial scenario related to licensing and permission of government of Maharashtra. So similarly, other states also accepted, but nevertheless, we will continue our dialogue. This is not the end of the conference. This is the start of the conference. We can continue our cooperation, and I'm thankful to L&T Sufin, Larsen & Toubro, particularly for supporting this event, and also the SBI General, and most importantly, the Honorable Governor, all the speakers, all the participants sitting here. And special congratulations again to all the award winners. आप ऐसे आगे बढ़िए, जनरेट कीजिए एम्प्लॉयमेंट, देश के नाम बढ़ाइए और let us march towards jointly Viksit Bharat. Thank you.